What's up, YouTube? Thrift Hunter here. I'm going to show you a few more eBay purchases, and this is a Laura Ramsey piece, 14 karat gold pearl necklace and a 14 karat gold Cameo piece. And this one actually in the listing as well had the original purchase price paperwork. So you can see here the price originally that they paid was $899. Not sure if that's exactly how much they paid, but pretty close to it. And that was back in 2005, so quite a while ago. And this is a 14 karat yellow gold sapphire and diamond with cultured South Sea pearl strand. And yeah, I don't know why I didn't just buy this right away, buy it now, but I'm glad I got it. Take a look at the Cameo on here. I think the reason why I wasn't sure is sometimes these Cameos, like your normal Cameo, I've sold them before and they're worth like, anywhere from 60 to $100. I mean, you rarely do you get over 100 unless it's something really special or something really big. So I figured maybe this was a lot lighter. Like, it's really hard to tell from pictures, and you kind of have to gamble a little bit. And that's what I do is I gamble on pieces and hope that they are better, than I expected. And this one turned out to be better than I expected. This Cameo piece actually weighs 15.5 grams or something like that, around 15 grams. So there's definitely a decent amount of gold in there, especially for what I paid. I would say there's over $100 in gold there. And then there's diamonds and sapphires and a nice Cameo piece. And it's also designer. And from the pictures, I didn't know it came in the original box. So it also came with the original box. And then these being cultured South Sea pearls is pretty good. It's the original clasp or original necklace, because this is marked the same as this is marked. And yeah, so this was a really great piece. This is Laura Ramsey. It's a Shop NBC designer piece. Oh no, this is a ring. All right, so maybe my other piece didn't come in. We'll see. This is actually a Cameo ring. See, sometimes I don't know what's coming in, but this was bought for I think $25 or $20. Something really cheap. And let's check out the mark. Yep, 14 karat marked in the band there. And they said that one of the prongs was broken, so you can see this Cameo is loose. And yeah, one of the prongs is broken. But let's go ahead and obviously you can see it's a nice filigree piece. It sucks that the prong's broken, but I don't really care. I mean, I paid $20 for the thing, so as long as we're over a gram here, we're fine, right? So here's the scale. And we've got 4 grams in total, which is great. I mean, obviously a lot of that weight is the Cameo, and I will pop that off. Obviously it doesn't look very difficult to get out. So I will pull that out. And we'll actually just weigh the gold. And we'll keep the Cameo, but it is a broken piece, so it'll most likely end up as scrap. But alright, so we have pulled the Cameo out. It was pretty easy. Just took some my little jeweler pliers here and just rolled those back a little bit, and it popped out. So let's go ahead and weigh how much gold we've got here without the Cameo. And we've got 2.9 grams, so that has a value of about $90. Paid about $20 or $25 for this piece. So yeah, happy with that one. It's a nice bit of gold, nice little ring setting. But this one is the main event and should be something really good, but obviously it's hard to tell from the pictures because they were kind of blurry. And this one I actually spent a lot of money on. This wasn't cheap, but I think it was a good deal. It's interesting. It's wrapped like a Christmas present here. So let's go ahead and open this up. If I can get it open. Okay. Looks like it's taped up pretty well. Okay. Got our box here. Okay. Here's our watch. So this is supposed to be a solid 14 karat gold Elgin watch and the band. So let's take a look at the marking on the band. Okay. 585 14K. And 14K gold on the back there. And some diamonds. Alright, so that all looks good. I will test it, but as far as just looking at it, definitely looks like gold. The most important thing is going to be if the weight is correct. They listed this at 27.4 grams, I believe. So let's go ahead and see if that is true on my scale, because that's going to be the most important part. Okay, 27.5. Making sure everything's on. Yep. Yeah, 27. I mean, so they're right on with the weight there. Let's go ahead and take out the movement and then see what kind of a weight we have with the movement removed. So this was $500. It's actually popped up for $475 plus tax and shipping. Let's go ahead and pull out the movement. Okay. And then we're going to get a weight with the movement removed. $24.5. Okay. So we've got the glass in there still. I will pop that out, but not yet. I'm going to have my gold guy look at it and see if he wants it before I pop it out. So for $510, let's call it 24 grams. That gives us a scrap value of about $720 or so. I'll have to punch it into the calculator. But at 90%, that puts me at about 600 and, let's see, 650? Around 650, 660. So I'll profit about $150 on this piece. Be a real easy turnaround. As far as just scrapping it, I may try and sell it for like a week or something, but it's a lot of money, and I would just prefer to, take my $150 and run. So yeah, really nice 14 karat solid gold Elgin ladies wristwatch. But watch the people in the comments go, it's fake. This is not fake. This is definitely, it looks 100% to me. It's actually a really nice band. And that's usually what's hard to find, is the nice gold bands, especially one that's heavy. Typically a lady's watch like this would weigh 15 grams, maybe 12 grams, something like that, and for this to weigh 27 grams makes the bracelet part of this a little bit above average in quality. And you can just tell, hopefully from the camera, that this is definitely gold. I mean, you can feel it. Gold has that feel too, especially like fine jewelry items like this. I mean, it feels like silk. I mean, it feels so smooth. When you do this with a plated piece, you can just feel it. And it's nice and thick. The weight is totally perfect for the size. Big interesting package here to open today. This one I'm pretty excited about. So this is supposed to be an 18 karat gold chronograph watch. and I bought it for $250 plus tax and shipping, so it was about $270, which is really, really cheap for a chronograph watch. It was listed for parts repair, and that was pretty much the whole listing. A couple pictures of the movement and the 18 karat hallmarks, and the dial was all I saw. I don't know if it's running, don't know if it's not running. I assuming we think that one of the pushers for the sub-register set, one piece is missing, basically, you'll see. Or it could be a mono pusher, but I think it's supposed to be two, and so one's missing. So maybe they weren't able to use that function, but the movement may be running. I don't know. It didn't say in the description if the watch was running at all or not. I don't know how much gold's in here. I don't know what millimeter size it is. I just did some very basic research on the brand, and my gold guy told me to pick up chronographs when I could, because he knows the watch dealers from the flea market that I used to go to when it was open, and hopefully it will open up again soon. So he's like, if you ever see any good gold chronographs, pick them up. People are always asking me for chronographs, so I picked this one up. I already showed him pictures of it, so he should have sent pictures of the watch to his buddy, so I should hear back from them pretty soon. It came in a towel, which is weird, but, you know, free towel, I guess. Alright, so here's the watch. First impressions, I like it so far. I mean, it's small. There's definitely a crack in the dial, or in the crystal. You see the crack there. So it's a Lemania watch, which I wasn't too familiar with. Not really a household name, but apparently they made movements for Tissot and Omega. So they're mostly known for making their chronographs for them. And there we can see that, yep, it is missing a pusher. And here's the back. No markings on the case back. Overall, though, the condition of the case is not bad at all. As far as like the amount of scratches is really not that bad. This thing definitely restorable as far as I can tell. I'm just checking for any marks like in between the lugs or on the lugs themselves. Let's go ahead and get a weight for the overall, just so we have an idea of what that's like. Bring in our scale. So total weight 29.4 grams. In case anyone was wondering, just like a general rule of pocket watches and wristwatches, if you do get the weight, that in general it's about 30% is gold of the total weight. And that's not exactly perfect, but I've taken apart quite a few watches and pocket watches, and like anywhere from like 30% to 34% has been like really pretty close at estimating. So I'm hoping in here there's roughly probably 9.5, maybe 10 grams of 18 karat gold. So that should be more than my money back just in gold is what we're hoping. But I do really like chronographs, and just overall the dial actually looks pretty good for a watch this old. This is probably from the 60s, I would think. And you can see it's like a little bit dirty, but there's no like cracks. All the markers are there. The outer, I guess they call that a tachyometer, something like that. And that the black on that is not worn down. Usually on old watches you'll see like a couple of numbers kind of rubbed down, and this one doesn't look that bad. Definitely I would say like a restorable piece. Just looking at it, I mean, getting the crystal replaced, this part, I mean, probably cost you $10 at a good watch repair place. I mean, they could replace that really easily. So this may end up being a keeper watch. I might hold on to this. If I can get like $800 or $1,000 for it, I'll sell it. But you know, I'm not gonna scrap the gold. My gold guy was like, "Yeah, I'll buy the gold from you," and I'm like, "Nah, I don't think on a chronograph I'm gonna be scrapping it." But it is missing the pusher. But you can get these pushers. I don't know if these are gold plated pushers or if they're 18 karat gold pushers, but it's probably like $30 to get a pusher. So you're talking, $100 so far in restoration would get this at least looking pretty dang good. And it's probably would need a total overhaul, so it'd probably run you more than that. But yeah, I'm just gonna look for and then you can see the crown here. No logo on the crown. I did look at some pictures online, and that does look to be the original crown, just based off of other ones I could find. I'm just looking for a lip. Alright, so we've got the lip right there is where we're going to pop this case back. Let me grab my set of precision screwdrivers. I actually bought these at a estate sale at some point. These are a precision screwdriver set, mainly for watches, but you can use it for like eyeglass repair, just anything with like little tiny screws and stuff. These have come in handy a lot, and I think you can pick these up for I don't know, $20 on Amazon, something like that. This is a pretty good brand. These are Brevet, which is really high quality tools. So we're gonna find a really tiny one, like maybe this one. Let's go like really small. Here's a little tiny screwdriver, and we're gonna try and use this to get in here and pop this case back. They had pictures of it open, so I'm assuming it's just a snapback. But we're going to insert it right into that little groove. Find it. There we go. Hopefully you can see that now. So we just went into that little groove. Pop the case back. Now we're going to lift it. And there's our chronograph movement and our case back. Hopefully you can see that. So this is what I saw in the pictures. So far everything looks absolutely beautiful. Let's go ahead and get a weight on the case back. It looks like there's a lot of gold here in the actual case itself, and not so much in the case back, but just to give us an idea. So 4.8 grams. So I think, like I said, probably 10 grams is like very, very close. Maybe 9.5 in total for the watch, but 4.7 of 18 karat right now would run you like $165, $170, something like that. So yeah, so we're happy with this one already. Obviously, if you couldn't tell, we've got our money back just in gold, and then we've got a nice chronograph movement. We're gonna go ahead and try and wind this and see just what happens. I always look to check the mainspring too. There's a little spring on the balance wheel. So right here, there's a little spring there, and this is the balance wheel. when you get watches that people say are for scrap or are not running or whatever, this is usually the main problem that I find with most watches is something's wrong here. And usually you'll either see that it's split. Just looking at this, it doesn't look split, but you'll see a break in that balance wheel. That can cause issues. Or the spring here is just like completely either missing or like all over the place. And a lot of the times what you can do is just kind of flick it and see if it starts bouncing like that. So that means that our balance wheel is at least intact. A lot of like old school guys will say you just like blow into it and see if it moves. So let's go ahead and wind it and just see if we get anything or what our winding feels like. So winding feels good as far as not being super wound. And there you go. We have a running movement, which is awesome. So that alone right there just increased the value by probably 20% at least. The fact that this is running versus not running. You can see it looks, just eyeballing it, it looks like it's running a little fast. And obviously we're not getting here we go. So we can see our seconds hand is moving, which is good. And then since we don't have a pusher here, we can't test our stopwatch function, which would be this hand here. I believe, I'm not super familiar with I've had a few chronographs in the past, but not a lot. But I believe this is the reset, and this would be the set. So we're missing the set. And there is a way to manually, jam something in there and push it. But I'm not going to mess with it past this. But you can see it's a Lemania movement. So it's an in-house movement, and it's 17 jewels, so it's not a really highly jeweled movement, but very nice looking. Pretty much a standard Swiss chronograph, not a super high-end one, I would say, but definitely not bad at all. It's pretty high quality. It's definitely up there, but it's not like insane. And one of the things to note is the 2 registers here. So a 2 register is typically worth less than a 3 register, and that's going to be these sub dials. So if there was a third one here, it would make this again another 20-25% more valuable if it had that. The watch that has the 3 registers around this time period is what they call the moon watch, because it's actually the movement that is in the Omega Speedmaster that was used on the first moon landing, I believe, is the same company made it. The Lemania made the movement for that Omega Speedmaster. So therefore the one with the 3 register dial is worth quite a bit of money. Some of them restored in 18 karat gold would be like $4,000, something like that. But overall, very impressed with this piece. Absolutely beautiful. Lovely to see another chronograph. I would put a value on this as is. I would say like $500, maybe $600. This same watch restored in nice condition with a nice band, overhauled, cleaned, the dial cleaned up, I mean just, made like new as possible, would be a $1,500, $2,000, especially being an 18 karat gold. Helps it a lot, and the fact that the You know, it's got things going for it. The case back, it's not engraved, it's not dented, it's not super scratched up. It's a fairly small size. We can get a case size on here. I'm actually going to throw this case back on just to protect it while we're playing around with it. And it just squeezes back on. It seems to be good enough to protect it. And let's get a millimeter size here. My digital caliper, it's all rusted and the battery's going bad on it, but you can buy these for about $20 on Amazon. So let's get our case width, which doesn't include crown, but we can see right there. Well, you can see that 32 millimeter case size, which puts it in the smaller range for a typical watch today for sure. Say average today is about 40 millimeter. Average or a decent size back in this day would be like 34, 36 millimeter. 32 is pretty small, so you can see on the wrist what it would kind of look like. That's a pretty small men's watch, but some people do like the vintage watches, and I have a small wrist too. I mean, I probably have a 7.25 wrist, very small, so even on me with a band, I mean, it would look okay, but yeah, it's pretty small. Well, there's a section on this Lemania. I'm going to show you a couple of pieces of jewelry real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. Alright, so we've got a couple pieces of jewelry that I picked up. Nothing insane, but some pretty nice pieces. This is one that I'm really on the fence on. You guys let me know in the comments what you think of this purchase. So this one, I believe, came up for $150, and then with tax and shipping it was like $170, I want to say. And I just bought it immediately, no questions asked, just bought and paid. It's rock crystal pearl, and it's damaged. You can see here one of the petals is damaged. Little bit of diamonds on the back, and here's the back of it with hallmarks all over it. So it's supposed to be 14 karat gold. I think it is. That's what the seller described it as. So this weighs 12.3 grams. So it was kind of a heavy piece, and I figured there's some amount of gold in here, right? I mean, worst case scenario, I have to scrap this, and I'm gonna get 120 bucks, 130 out of it, right? It has a ton of hallmarks on here. So I'm definitely going to do a bunch of research and see what I can find out about this piece and who made it, because it does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hallmarks on it, something like that. Maybe 6. So it's definitely an important piece. Again, a piece like this, not damaged, would be worth over $1,000, $1,000 to $1,500. I just thought it was a good enough purchase. And my idea of this would be to remove the broken one and just have it as the 2. And I think you'd be fine with doing that if you had a jeweler cut off this section, and kind of fold that down or something, and just have a 2-flower piece. I think that would still look really nice, and I think that would be the way to go with this piece. But as far as trying to sell it on eBay, we'll see. I'm gonna try. I just don't know how much someone's gonna pay for it. I think hopefully I can get 300, 400. I'll probably list it at 500, and I don't expect it to be something that sells immediately, but if I can get a little bit of profit out of it, I'll be happy. It's a damaged piece. I mean, damaged pieces are really, really, really hard because it's You gotta find someone who really cares about this stuff and wants to save a piece like this. Beautiful piece. Sad about the damage. But yeah, let me know what you think about this one. I still have to do a lot of research on it and see what we're going to do with it. But there's that. And here's just a couple of pieces of gold. Basically, this stuff will be scrap. This one I already took the pearls out of to get a weight on it. So this is marked 14 karat on the back. There. And that weighs like 4 grams. And then this weighs like 5 grams. And this is 14 karat white gold. This is WRE, which is Richard something. It's like a designer name. Dated, and then it's got some like little number inscriptions on it on the back of the leaf stem there. And then it's marked 14 karat on the stem. So these two together were $90, and I think there's close to $300 worth of gold there. As long as this ends up being fully 14 karat. I did test it, and it tests 14 karat just fine. But WRE usually makes gold-filled items, and gold-filled can be a little bit tricky to test. White gold in general is a little bit tricky to test, but the fact that it's signed, dated, numbered, everything like that makes me think, with a diamond, makes me think it's solid 14 karat. So those are just those little pieces there. And then I bought 2 garnet tennis pieces. So we've got a tennis bracelet and a tennis necklace. So I was really happy about the necklace because the necklace is in general pretty hard to find. I'm not sure how well you can see all that. Not the highest quality piece, but I paid $90 for the bracelet and $210 for the necklace total, or yeah, shipped and taxed. The necklace has 2 broken prongs on the whole thing. There's 2 broken prongs. Each of these are 4 prongs, so 2 of them have 3 prongs. And the stones are fine. They're not loose. There's nothing wrong with that, but there is a little bit of damage. So I'm not sure how much that's going to hurt the value. It's really tough with the damaged stuff. A lot of people just won't even touch it. But beautiful piece. You see the bracelets a lot. You don't see the necklaces a lot. And a necklace like this, like at a retail shop, would be like $1,000. And this would be like $200 to $300. This weighs like 18 grams, and this is like 6.7. So let me know what you think. I think it was a good deal. I think, I'm not sure if I'm going to list these as a set or separately. These are oval stones. These are round. So it's not an exact match. And I think the necklace will have a lot of interest where the bracelet might not. So I'm thinking I'm going to separate them, but I may do it as a set just because it looks nice and they're similar like setting and everything like that. But let me know if you think that was a good deal. I think it was. I don't see any problems with it. I'm making a little bit of money out of it. Yeah, so that's everything I've got right now. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.